friends! Good morning, my friends. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning, my illuminaries and mysterians. You luminaries, please keep shining forth your light and making the world a better place for your passing. And you mysterians, keep dragging those mysteries out of the darkness so we can all work on them together. Here we are in No Man's Sky. Yes, this is No Man's Sky. And, which is kind of interesting because I've also taken up playing a slightly different game under a different name. The ED of the space exploration world, or in other words, Elite Dangerous. Now, I find both No Man's Sky useful and relaxing. Why do I find it useful and relaxing? Well, mainly because I get to harvest materials, craft and craft. Harvest materials and sell and sell and sell. You know, it's a very peaceful place for me emotionally, and so it allows me, because like this is a game where I don't have to fight, except in the occasional starship battle. I don't have to like shoot at people-oriented things. You know, animals is one thing. Hunting, I don't mind. You know, I've had more than my fair share of having to shoot at humans and be shot at by humans. So I kind of no longer have an interest in that anymore. Though I do occasionally play certain first-person shooters, like the Cycle, but that's mainly because I'm not shooting at humans 90% of the time. In fact, I'm usually running away from the other humans. I'm usually going to hunt the critters, and you know, the prospecting. It's what I play the Cycle for. It's why I won't play a game like Fortnite, because Fortnite, the whole point is you're hunting other humanoids, so other people. And they may be wearing a llama costume, they may be wearing a shark outfit, but they're still humans. And I just don't have a fascination in that anymore. It doesn't appease my need for calm. And I have a very large need for calm in my life. So something where I can kind of endlessly grind is something that gives me a little bit of emotional peace in a time when we all know nothing but turmoil. I mean, the whole nation is shut down now due to COVID-19, because this is being recorded on April 23rd. You know, so 420 passed in Denver, and I was hoping to go to 420 in Denver, and then I kind of realized that Denver's shut down, and so there would be no 420 festivities. And if there's not going to be 420 festivities, there's no point in going to Denver, because it is like an hour away from me. I'm in Colorado Springs, and so I kind of realized it was just not time to partake, and then I kind of gave up smoking pot in general, which is kind of odd for me. I mean, I've been smoking pot almost every day since I was 14 years old, and but I realized it kind of made me a wastrel. I wasn't producing videos, I wasn't making content, putting it out there, and whatnot. It made me a wastrel. I recorded a tremendous amount, but I've got like 11 gigs of 11 terabytes of recordings that are right now in storage. Um, you know, probably 150 hours of just this game alone, and I kind of realized I was letting myself waste away with stupidity, and not, you know, I was not productive, and that it was biting into my power of overcome. I mean, I ended up in hospitals a lot. I was, my health was just poor to the point that they were considering throwing me in hospice. And, if I had continued smoking as heavily as I was, I probably would have ended up in hospice where I wouldn't have been able to smoke, and then I would have gone through. I mean, I can't say it's withdrawals; it's emotional withdrawals. It's not withdrawals like DTs or something from not drinking. But it's still kind of it's made me more contemplative, which good and bad thing. Me thinking too much is often a bad thing because I overthink everything. In fact, I sometimes am, uh, you know, completely befuddled with analysis paralysis. So, clearing the fog of my head has been an important thing, and that's part of my recovering recovering from keeping my brain pickled with THC. Um, I still don't really have much clarity of thought, but that's my mental health working its way out. And here, and this is what I've been doing for the past couple of minutes while we've been talking. As you can see, we came upon this, I think it's a gold deposit. And, you see, I have a kind of a swipe technique. I try to get every last itty bitty piece because because wouldn't want it to go to waste now, would I? That, and like I said, I'm probably the grindiest human being I have ever met. Because to step back in my history, I used to play a game, Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. Okay, now Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, for one, was a game that was unforgiving in its magic system. It was way before the advantages of the easy magic of Skyrim or even Oblivion. Oblivion was easier magic system than Daggerfall. Daggerfall was back when keyboard controls were brand spanking new, and so not everything had excellent and easy keybinds and such. So it was not unusual to be a difficult game, and it was a massive game at the same time. The Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall is a game that in my youth I played. I should say not in my youth. I was 30, I guess, 30 something. It was before my first heart surgery, so it was before I was. It was probably 32. I was probably 31, 32 when I started playing Daggerfall. And one day I realized I had 1,000 hours tied into the game. And when it showed me the completion, main quest completion, it said less than 2%. Basically, I had finished the tutorial and I think the first mission. And all I had was less than 2%. And I was like, I've been playing the game for 1,000 hours, mind you. And lo and behold, why did something woodloop? Anyway, lo and behold, 1,000 hours in and less than 2% of the game finished meant that I was very surprised to realize exactly how incomplete my completionist need was to play that game. But like, I found a dungeon I liked, and I just kept going back to it, and I eventually went back to it with a wagon. And then I would take all my stuff out, all the goodies out of the dungeon, dump them in the wagon. And because of the age of the game, there was not a respawn timer. The timer was you stepping out of the dungeon, period. So once you stepped out of the dungeon, the entire dungeon refreshed. So I could dump all my stuff in all my goodies, my spoils in the wagon, and then race back into the dungeon that I now know, all the nooks and crannies, and know the kinds of beasties I'm going to be fighting for the most part. Though they did tend to scale with you, so eventually you did run into vampires and ghosts and stuff. But also, I was very big into hex editing that game, which was, cheating a first-person game. First-person, not just a first-person game, but a single-player game, which I don't usually like to do. And then at the same time, for like Bethesda products, for some reason, yes, I will just give myself several million gold, because I just don't want to put up with the dickering on price and stuff, and fighting with like, oh my goodness, am I gonna? So it was just like, but Daggerfall 2, 1,000 hours in, less than 2% of the main quest finished, and so that kind of set in my mind exactly the kind of grindy critter I was, and what I used to do to appease my mental health. And yes, it was a matter of appeasing my mental health, because the diagnosis I was granted was schizoaffective bipolar type, and that generally means that I have a more colorful and full interior world than most people. I see things that I know are not there, because I've had guests over my house and whatnot, and if they saw Fred hanging out in the corner, then a 3-foot wide, 20 some odd inch deep spider hanging in the corner, chittering away, saying this and that, most people would nope the hell out of it. Nope the hell out, and like on the moment they came into the room, they would like look up in the corner, see that giant dark black hairy thing, black and blue and green hairy thing, and chittering away, and they'd nope the hell out. They'd be like, no, you don't need me over here that bad. I don't need to be over here that bad. No. So I know that Fred's not real, even though he's real in my head. Most of my other imaginary friends, well, they're characters I made up for stories I did decades ago. Here's one of my big frustrations with No Man's Sky is when you need to move your ship, and you need to bring your ship to you, but you can't because there's nowhere to land. There's nowhere where it'll say, oh yeah, this is a good spot to land. And I especially do that when I'm overburdened and have too much stuff. And so when I have too much stuff, I try to call my ship in, and as you see how much time it takes, it can be very frustrating. So, in the anywho of it, we continue right along, and we're talking about So my mental health is ragged, at best. And my mental health is ragged on a good day, and difficult on a bad one. I wanted to use YouTube kind of as a day-to-day therapy. Give myself a goal, because I'm on disability, and I'm severely broken. I have congestive heart failure. I'm a COPD, and light asthma. I've got a ruptured lobe of my lungs, so 1/5 of my lungs don't even work. And that is on top of the congestive heart failure and the 7 strokes and the 3 aneurysms and 5 heart attacks and 5 heart surgeries, being shot 3 times and stabbed 3 times and hit by pretty much every blunt object mankind knows how to make. Now, sometimes that was willingly, as I was in the SCA, Society for Creative Anachronism. And when I was in the SCA, they do Renaissance fairs and stuff, and they do live action combat, what they call jousting. But it's not jousting the way most people know it. In fact, I know there's another term for it too, but the list fighters are, I've gotten to get into armor and face friends. I had a friend who would remember an issue not quite so fondly when every time I hit his shield with the wooden sword I was using, a chunk of his edge of his sword would just, or edge of his shield rather, would just like give way and like become a blow of sawdust in the face. And it was just, it was interesting. It was interesting. He endured. I endured. I will tell you though, fighting in armor with a legitimately weighted weapon, even if it is made of wood wrapped in rattan wrapped in duct tape to prevent splintering and such, it's still. You're swinging around a 3 or 4 pound sword. It is not very long before you want to rest that thing up on your shoulder, while you're waiting between swings. And I don't mean waiting between swings for every swing. It's like he takes a swing, I take a swing. I'm talking about just waiting for an opportunity to strike. Sometimes you want to set that weapon in a position where it's not the full weight in your hand, pulling on the weight, all of your arm, and then you're also wearing armor, which is usually somewhere in the 30 to 50 pound range. It gives you an understanding of like what the foot soldier, armored foot soldier of the era had to be. What kind of a man he had to be. He had to be a burly man, not a girly man. So, I came to appreciate what was a truth in truth in my universe. So I didn't do a bunch of cuts with this because honestly, it really didn't matter what the background was. I was going to say what I was talking about, regardless of the regardless of whatever the visuals were in the background. I wasn't going to talk to the visuals of the background. I was going to talk to the the strength of our of what I am looking for out of my world. You know, it's kind of interesting. Um, I've been for so long fighting this fight against so many issues, and I realized that if I'm gonna be dead, guess what? I'm gonna end up dead, and by that point, I'll have no complaints. So what am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna continue to fight, continue to push on. I'm gonna continue to, try to post, try to bring forth content, bring forth some truth in the world. I am also trying to bring at least 4 of my channels online. It's this one, or illumANark Gaming, Thin the Horde, Explorers News Network, and Bad Strategy and Tactics. I'm hoping to start pushing, because I've been told by some people that there were people who actually paid to keep my channel black boxed, black bagged, blacked out, non-existent. And I have this belief that water is an unstoppable force. And if there's a dam that's holding me back, I am going to push enough water against that dam that it has no choice but to break. I'm going to break the dam. So the D-A-M-N, and then dam, D-A-M, for the dam in the water. I am going to break that dam. I'm going to break it down. And I am going to flow like across the lands of YouTube like water. I will also start posting more on my minds.com account, and because this is going to go, after this comes rendered and goes up on today, the 23rd, after this goes up, I will then be I don't know, just lost my mind. And of all the things I miss in my life, I miss my mind the most. So we've spoken on hither and thither and where my head's at. Hopefully, I will keep being able to throw some power against this wall of a dam and until I can get it to break. Because, I want to hear those alarms of wah, 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 when the dam is about to burst and the lands below are needing to find higher ground. I will flow across the landscape of YouTube like a great flood. Hopefully, we can all grow together, because the I in the illuminarchy is not nearly as important as the we of the illuminarchy. And I appreciate you spending time with me. Hopefully you spent more than a minute. And if you have, why don't you comment "overcome" in the end if you've already done that. If you haven't, subscribe. If you liked it, like it. I really could appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Peace out. Peace.